Something that you need to understand about me is that if I were to be left unchecked, I would hoard eyeshadow and pretty sparkle dust like smog hoarded treasure. Hi friends, thank you for watching. My name is Mia and this is my virtual vanity, a place where we both love makeup and we're quite critical of it. Today I'm doing a collaboration with my wonderful friend Leorah here on YouTube. Her channel is going to be linked down below as well as her video. Leorah is a wonderful, charismatic, spirited lady. I love her so much. She does wonderful, colorful eyeshadow looks, but she doesn't limit her channel to just eyeshadow. She also does a lot of interesting lifestyle content. She just posted a Foster Bunny update a couple of days ago, and that literally made my day, aligned my planets, healed my chakras. It was chef's kiss. So if you're into colorful makeup, head wraps, because she does like a lot of very beautiful ones, and lifestyle content sprinkled in, I do suggest checking Leorah out. Today we are going to do the Eyeshadow Palette Lover Tag. This tag was created by Angelica Lyemar and I'm going to link her channel and the original tag video down below. Without further ado, let me talk to you guys a bit about my hoard. I've done really good with my eyeshadow collection. I think I've bought 2 palettes total this year, and I'm also quite discerning about what I keep, what I don't, because too much of one single thing does tend to overwhelm me. So I do have, I would say, a curated, excessive eyeshadow collection, but it is curated and I kind of know everything that I have. Without further ado, let me pull up the tag questions. The first one is a palette I regret that I didn't buy. I honestly have no regrets. I've been at this for 2 years in the YouTube world and a makeup lover for quite a bit more. I would say 4 to 5 years. And being so much interested in the industry kind of made me realize that things are repetitive. So no matter how unique you think a release is going to be or how necessary it is, as time passes, something quite similar will come out or you will lose interest in it. There are palettes that keep catching my fancy and I keep putting them on my wish list, but there is not one palette that I didn't buy and that I still think of years and years later. If I have something on my mind for months and months, I just end up getting it. Alternatively, palettes that I regret I didn't buy because I'm currently on a beauty budget and limiting myself in that regard would be the Huda Beauty Pastel ones. I know I don't particularly need them, but they're so shiny and pretty and sparkly and I want them. So I do regret maybe that I'm not able to buy them yet, but if I keep thinking about them by the end of the year, I'll probably get them. A palette I regret buying. There's actually 2 entries here, one which I decluttered and another which I still have and I'm keeping out of spite. The first one would be the Naked One palette that I bought because at the time everyone on YouTube was saying that it's like the mother of nostalgia, that, you know, everyone who is anyone on YouTube has used the Naked palette. It was a bit of a fetishization of something that everyone kept using, and I thought that maybe getting it would legitimize me as a makeup lover. Lo and behold, I used it maybe 5 times and I gave it away to a friend. The problem is that I don't generally enjoy the Urban Decay formula. I find their mattes are idiot proof, but they're nothing to blow me out of the water. Their shimmers are mediocre, and that Naked palette is a great staple work everyday palette, but that's not my preference, as you can quite clearly see. So I gave it to someone that would actually appreciate it for the good workhorse palette that it is. And I did not learn my lesson the first time, and I also got the Naked 3 palette, which for years I kept purely out of spite. It was my first big girl purchase, and I did not use it nearly enough as I did because I don't use neutrals and I don't use cool toned neutrals enough to give this the love it deserves. But I've been starting to like it lately. I've been into simpler, more low-key looks for my day-to-day life. I don't know if it's Stockholm Syndrome or if it's just another symptom of me starting to get into neutrals and appreciating them for what they are. But we might have a good relationship with this one yet. Next question is a palette that I haven't used as much as I thought. This is the Magic Mini by Juvia's Place, and at first glance I thought that this is precisely up my alley. It's got some interesting mattes, it's got beautiful shimmers. I don't know why I don't use this more. It might be the way that it is arranged that is not particularly inspiring for me. What I usually end up doing is getting 1 or 2 shimmers from here or 1 or 2 mattes and then get another palette. I almost never do looks just with this palette. I have to remind myself to use it, and I do not understand why, because there are some generally very stunning shades. Faso here is a beautiful duochrome, Osun, Zuba, again, other beautiful duochromes. Nubia is a beautiful gold. These jewel tone shades, again, very beautiful. I like this red matte. I cannot explain it. It's a mystery for the ages. Next question is a palette that I used more than I thought I would. This is the Huda Beauty Neon Greens palette, and I got this on a whim. And I thought that, you know, I would like it, but I ended up falling desperately, passionately in love with this. This is one of my favorite palettes in my collection. It's got very airy, gauzy, pastel-like, translucent almost mattes, so it's not, you know, it's not neon unless you use a white base and really pack it on. It's also got these beautiful shimmer shades that can act as glitter toppers or as proper shimmers if layered over something else. I just love this palette so much, and I keep pulling it for it over and over and over again. I knew I would like it. I did not realize that it would become one of the crown jewels in my collection. Okay, I'm getting a bit overheated, so excuse me. These lights in summer heat are just killing me. Moving on, my favorite half neutral, half colorful palette. Let me present to you my love, my one and only, the palette that I dream of at night, the one that's always a siren song telling me to use it and neglect everything else that I have. I am a major simp for Nabla. This is Nabla Soul Blooming, and she is a warm toned affair, blue tones, lots of glitter topper shades, some neutrals, and some pops of pinks. This palette is everything that I would want out of a palette. Beautiful duochromes, pops of color, a blue, this is kind of a blurple type of affair. Looks very ultramarine blue in the pan, shows a bit purple on the lid. I don't know what's up with that. The mattes blend themselves, the shimmers are beautiful. It's great for complex looks, it's great for work, one and done type of looks. I love this palette so very much, and Nabla has my favorite eyeshadow formula of life. Next question is a palette that I bought for the packaging. Shamelessly, the Zeesea British Museum Egyptian collection, which I actually have a review of. I'm gonna link it down below. This is so heavy. I could use it as a blunt object in a fight. If I were in a bar fight and I would take this palette out of the purse and whack someone with the head with it, I would send them to the hospital. Very luxe, beautiful packaging. It's got like sort of embossing on the front, so very pleasurable to touch texturally. Not to mention that this model on the front is very, very intricate. The inside is also really, really pretty, but it's not something that, oh, you know, it would attract me at first glance to say that I have nothing like this ever and it filled some gaps in my collection. I bought this purely for the packaging. Incidentally, I also love the palette itself. A palette that you like the shimmers more than the mattes, and I'm going to be repetitive and mention again the Huda Beauty Neon Greens. The mattes are fine, but the thing that I like the most from this palette are these gauzy shimmers that just sit on top of the lid and provide a veil of sparkle. They make me feel like a fairy. They're not opaque. They feel like I just pulled a veil of magic on my lids. They're truly something else. And I also like more the shimmers in her Mini Nude Light palette. Next is a palette that I like the mattes more than the shimmers. Look, I'm a magpie. I like shiny things, crown brain overload. So if I have a palette, I'll always prefer the shimmers over the mattes. It's just the way my brain works, so I'm cheating a bit. And I'm showing you my favorite all matte palette. And I think my only all matte palette, is it? I think it is, yeah. This is just peachy mattes from Too Faced, and look, I don't know what Too Faced puts in their palettes. I think they put like powdered crack or something. I don't know, it just smells so good. So delicious. I really like these. These are my go-to work mattes. I usually just pop something from here on the crease and then a duochrome on the lid. I've used this to death. It doesn't show because I've got a very light hand, but these blend themselves. They're really good quality. They're layerable, buildable. They don't patch up. They don't bunch up. They don't have fallout. Beautiful, beautiful formula. If this palette broke on me or grew legs and ran away to, you know, find its purpose, have a hero's journey, I would repurchase this in an instant. Next question is a palette that happily surprised you. This is the Brown Sugar Colourpop palette. I feel that this is discontinued. I bought this at the time because I needed a staple neutral palette, and I thought that it was going to be quite basic at first glance. I was wrong. This palette is a reverse catfish. Let me explain why. At first glance, these are very basic, very simple, and then the depth of the shimmers surprises you. They're not exactly duochrome. I wouldn't say they have a flip, but they've got something special to them that doesn't make them a simple cream, a simple copper, a simple gray. This saute color with henna in the crease, it just gives me all of the lady detective noir vibes. Perfect, 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 perfect. And the shimmers blend themselves, absolutely beautiful. I love Colourpop's formula. So this really surprised me because I thought it was going to be like, you know, staple neutral palette, whatever. And it ended up being something that I do not see myself parting with. Final question, a palette with the most interesting color story. I don't think Colourpop has ever put out anything as good as Good Sport ever since Good Sport was launched. This has the most beautiful, grungy, fall vibe color story. Warmth, purples, greens, the shades of leaves falling and dying and crunching under your step. I love this palette so much for the multiple unusual combinations where you can either use colors close together for a very simple cohesive look, or you can play up the factor of color contrast. Orange contrasts really well with purple, purple contrasts really well with green, orange is complementary to green and to yellow. Very beautifully curated palette. It's honestly, I don't think they'll ever be able to top themselves after this. It's just too good. That was it, guys. That was me simping over my makeup collection for quite a bit. Please let me know the answers that you have to this tag if you want to share down in the comments below. And if you have any opinions about the palettes that I shared here, I would also love to hear that. Don't forget to go watch Leorah's video and to check out Leorah's channel. And that was it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to have a wonderful evening or morning, second breakfast, third lunch, or whatever it is where you're from. Bye!